marketing, entrepreneurship, and all things small business. You're listening to the Jurassic Marketing's Triceratops. Now, here's your host, Justin Miller.
All right. We're still kicking off the new year here, maybe like a month late, but the party and the roaring still goes on. And
the dino roar always goes on.
I love the dino roar, except for when the AI audio edit takes it out. So
It's true.
if you didn't hear one, Kevin didn't do his producing job.
I think we're on like 6 episodes in a row where I didn't miss that. So I think we're on a real hot streak.
Shut off the AI. The dinosaurs do not like AI.
They do not.
Well, you know what? They like feeding on leads, though. That's what we're talking about today.
True. They do.
Talking about everyone wants more leads, more leads, more leads. Sometimes that's the winning number. Most of the time it's not.
I like quality leads. I prefer quality leads.
You ever seen the movie Glengarry Glen Ross?
No.
Yeah, so they're always complaining about the leads in there. It's a little bit of a tough watch because it's so old at this point, but if you work in sales, you'd have to have seen it. So you're going to have to go home and you're going to have to watch
search it.
Someone owns the rights to it.
Nice.
No, we're talking about the two sides of leads. So 2 different buckets. And no, Kevin, not the Menards buckets.
Those are good buckets. They come in handy.
The green buckets and the blue buckets for Lowe's and the orange ones for Home Depot. But no,
That's right.
we have 2. We have the lead conversion buckets and the lead gen buckets. And everyone loves talking about the lead gen bucket.
True.
No one wants to talk about the lead conversion bucket. It's hard work.
That's the hard part, yeah.
I would argue they're both hard work, actually. Actually, you know what? I might flip-flop what I just said because, to me, I lived in lead conversion land for quite a while. You know, when I was doing Infusionsoft at the time, builds, that's what I was doing, is building long follow-up and multi-channel lead conversion things. Fixing your funnel, if you will. That's what we called it, the funnel. The marketing funnel before funnels were cool.
That sounds trademarked.
I don't know. It's too generic of a term, but certainly someone has tried to own that and really
True.
brought that term to the forefront. But a lot of business owners tend to focus on one side or the other.
Yeah.
They're either lead conversion or lead gen, and they think that's what's going to be the lever to pull that really makes everything change. So on one side, we have the lead generation, which is give me more leads, whether it's through social, whether it's through paid ads, whether it's through Chamber of Commerce, networking events, webinars, you name it. And then the other side is lead conversion, which is that long-term follow-up, the booking system, the educational, and the sales aspect of it. And again, most people are going to neglect one or the other and end up wasting a lot of money. Now, you can neglect one and the business still works, but by God, you're leaving money on the table. So lead gen side, there's a new shiny object like every week there is. There's another agency wanting to generate more leads for you. If you live in the online world, there's tons of marketing agencies that all they want to do is get you more leads. Here's your spreadsheet of leads. But you can't deposit leads.
That's true.
It's like the likes on Facebook. Can't deposit those.
Yeah, they don't they just anymore. Likes don't mean anything on social media or love. The little heart emojis on Instagram. Yeah, you cannot convert likes, loves, thumbs up.
It's just traffic. You need it, right? Like you need some stuff coming in the top of the funnel to get something to the bottom, and you need people noticing you. That's the reason we do these podcasts.
Yeah.
We are doing lead gen. But if we haven't done our part to warm up those leads and convert them, we are in trouble. And some of that's a manual process. Some of that's a systems process. You really need both. But the problem on both sides of that bucket occurs when we look busy but aren't producing results. Now, I've seen this in my own company. So, sometimes everyone looks really busy and you're not getting what you want because they're too busy to do what they need to do to get the result you want. And that is a difficult thing to figure out, and more importantly, figure out how to get beyond. So busyness and activity does not equal outcome. And when we're setting goals, we have to be very careful that we don't set only activity-based goals, because oftentimes you can achieve the activity without achieving the intent, which is not good for business. Also, you're setting the game by which your staff and systems play. And if you set that wrong, they're going to play the game put in front of them, right? So busy from a marketing angle, what's that look like? So what do you do, for your businesses to lead gen, what type of activities, or, you're taking part in one right here with me.
Yeah, no, I mean, a lot of social media ads, for the wedding business. Of course, it's wedding expos. You're, quite frankly, re-engaging with vendors constantly so you can stay top of mind and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes it's referrals from previous clients, but I'm amazed at how the same process all over can sometimes be real exhilarating. Other times it's like mundane drudgery.
Yeah, and sometimes you get traction and sometimes you don't. Like sometimes business owner A gets traction with this tactic, business owner B doesn't. I'm thinking of even some of our social posting is, we have multiple people behind the scenes creating content.
Yeah.
And they're different types of content. And some of those they don't get pushed out by the algorithm. Like if you see the stats, they're embarrassingly low, and then others take off. But when you're looking at the marketing activity, I'm posting, I'm doing my job, I'm posting, I'm creating reels, I'm posting every day on these 20 different platforms. I'm updating the website, and no one's going to the website.
Well, I think for the longest time now, it's become about just, you have to create content, you have to do this, but no one really talks about that you actually have to do content that works. It's not just a game of numbers of doing. You actually have to do something that works.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't know what's going to until you do it.
The problem, you don't know, but there's an agency that'll tell you.
Yeah, or you're getting the stat but not the outcome. So some of our content, maybe like one piece has a bunch of likes or hearts or whatever, but when you go look at them, it's my friend, it's my family. Like, those are not my customers. Does that really matter?
When we had Jeff, was it Greenfield on several episodes ago, he had talked about some of that stuff where you have to have metrics. You have to actually know. You can't just guess, because sometimes it might be embarrassing when you realize that Aunt Sue and Grandma and your wife and your sister are the 4 of the 6 likes or views on a.
I mean, I appreciate their support. So please continue hitting like. But it's not the primary intent of what we do. But let's say we are getting beyond the like and we're getting the traffic that we want. Let's say they're going all the way to becoming leads in our system. So maybe they're marketing qualified leads, but they're not getting appointments. Oh, now we got a problem still there. Or maybe you're getting appointments, but no sales. Or maybe just sales appears to be random. This can all happen when we're busy marketing, but we failed in the other bucket. Our other bucket is leaking and the funnel needs fixed. And more often than not, this is a quicker win in most businesses to plug some holes in the funnel than it is to go out and get more leads. Leads are expensive.
They are expensive. That's why I like referrals. That's why I like repeat clients.
Yep.
That's why I like dealing with venues that are like, these are the 3 people who are going to refer. You're one of them. You tend to center on the ones that bring you the most. Doesn't always work. But
and it seems like the lead gen gets more expensive by the month or year as well. Like as the media has become more cluttered, like something new will come on and it'll be really cheap, right? But then immediately the marketers swarm in, and if it's working, it's going to get more expensive. And then if you're using a third party, it's going to get more expensive because they have to do it for you. So lead gen's an expensive activity, and we do a lot. We go to events, we exhibit. Those leads are really expensive. They're hundreds of dollars per lead for us.
Yeah.
In some cases, approaching 4 figures, depending upon what the situation is.
But they are also in some way, they're qualified leads. You're not going to conventions that have people that would never hire you. It's unlike, the agency that says, we'll get you 1,000 leads a month, and you realize that 980 of them would never even think about buying from you. I'd rather have 20 qualified leads than 1,000 generic, crappy, I think that gets lost sometimes in small business. They just think numbers.
Well, and in theory, the right people are there. It's still a gamble.
Yeah.
Like marketing is educated gambling to an extent. I probably just offended a lot of marketers.
Well, and then
but
you're saying,
one of you.
Not only do I have to get the appointment, but then getting the lead isn't enough. I have to get an appointment, and then when I get the appointment, then I got to close the sale.
Oh yeah, there's
that's what I mean.
There's steps in most things.
It isn't just. That's what I do. Like sometimes in my business, It's very rare, but sometimes I can close somebody when they just call as a lead. I don't have to have an appointment. That is pretty rare, and they're usually lower dollar value. But in a business where you're required to have an appointment because you can't sell them without it, it becomes a whole nother step that some people don't even think about.
Well, yeah, and maybe we don't even get to the appointment. Maybe, maybe we're doing all these reels and our podcasts and our website and stuff, but we don't have a strong next step. I guess this is probably, number one fix to busy marketing and not doing the conversion well is, are we telling people what we want them to do next? Because if we're not, they're lost. So are we telling them exactly where to go? And by the way, like, check out my website is not a great call to action, or, hey, reach out if you need me. Yeah. Or this would be the equivalent to my staff saying, hey, let me know if you have any upcoming mailing projects. That's not a marketing activity. You need to be very specific. So, get this report, get a free copy of my book.
If you ever get divorced, let me know.
Yeah.
I'll put you on my maybe you get married again list.
I don't think that would work.
I'm surprised how many second weddings I've done over 25 years, but more than a handful, but not
if you proactively advertise to them. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't. No, it was always like, hey, we remember you from last time. I'm like, what do you mean? Oh, I'm divorced. Oh, all right. Yeah, I think there's a market there to actually market to, but yeah.
You know what we just had recently this week as a call to action that worked really well was, hey, reply back to this email and let me know if you want to do something,
Sometimes being direct actually works. Other times you think it's silly, but sometimes that works.
Yeah, so you have a lot of options. So that's leak number one. Leak number two in these buckets is waiting for prospects to self-convert. So if you are sitting around, or your sales team is sitting around waiting for prospects to self-convert, meaning take the next step on their own with no outside influence, your follow-up system's broken. So yes, it's great when our leads call on their own or pretty much give you a lay-down sale via email, and you don't have to chase them down. But if you don't have a system in play to capture and follow up on that info, you are missing probably more than you are hitting, which is crazy. But I see it all the time. It's like, all right, let's put all this marketing effort out. And this is like a marketing-driven company to the extreme is we're really good at, lead gen and white papers and follow-up sequences and webinars and educate. And when they are ready, they will reach out and let me know they're ready to buy.
Maybe.
Yeah, some.
Some, not enough, probably.
Well, maybe even, that's the other danger, maybe enough. But we paid for the other 80% as well, right?
Well, part of what I'm hearing you say in this episode is that even if you're doing well, you're probably leaving money on the table.
There's always money on the table.
Yeah.
This is something I learned fairly early on from Dan Kennedy is, there's usually more left in the follow-up than is actually captured up front. This is like, in my world, the equivalent of sending one mailing sales letter and getting some results, but sending like a follow-up to the same list. There's probably just as much still out there again with the follow-up. And it's wasted effort for those that would have converted. Like, we already spent the money to hit them once. Why wouldn't we spend it to hit them second and third time? So that waiting for them, sitting around waiting for the phone to ring, problem number two on the conversion bucket.
Hello?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you. Yeah,
again, it happens.
Sure. You get busy, you get involved with whatever in the office, but yeah, I'm guilty of it too. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're going to call me back.
It's lazy sales. Even if you're like high effort on marketing, that'd be lazy sales. All right, so let's say we've fixed a little bit of that. And by the way, you don't need to completely fix these things. These are core critical failures in marketing. And we just have to improve a small amount on each step, and it will be exponentially better. That's the fun part of the math on these. Leak number 3 in the bucket, follow-up being weak or inconsistent. So either it's random acts of call them sales.
Yeah.
So no follow-up. We're hitting them once and not following up again. For my sales team, I'm thinking, we make the outbound call once and leave the voicemail and then never try again because we can say we called them. Or you just forget about them. Like, when I was doing CRM type builds, it's amazing how many business owners, or I should say where they were at in their business journey, that didn't have some sort of basic customer relationship system in play, and they were using Excel sheets or now Google Sheets and Post-it notes.
What's wrong with that?
You run out of desk space.
Oh, that's true. Wall space.
Yeah.
No.
Too many Post-its.
Well, you get stuck. I mean, is it that you get stuck in your own method, or you're afraid of technology, or you're lazy, or
You're probably busy.
okay?
I'm busy doing all these
I'm
other things.
busy.
But this is the one where a lot of it can be in an automated system. So this is time well spent because it's amplified. So it's building that follow-up system, whether it's email, text, direct mail, phone calls, all of the above, preferably.
And once it's set up, it doesn't have to be recreated every time. Once you set it up, it's
set
good
it
and it's set.
Set it and forget it. Was that Ron Popeil?
I think so. Yeah.
Set it and forget it, right? And the other thing is, so we have this debate with our sales team as we're building these marketing sequences to assist them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, the verbiage isn't perfect on that email for this particular prospect and where they're at. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to make the automated email generic enough that it can serve the purpose. But it's amazing how much even manual effort is done by the sales team that really is copy and paste. And that should be built into a system. Like, this is not a good use of human beings, and human beings are very expensive and getting more so. Payroll is usually the number one line item for a small business.
Yeah.
And I think going away anytime soon. So if there is something that is repetitive, and this is one of my missions for the next quarter or half year, I'm currently serving as interim sales manager here, and it's to catch things that can be automated, simplified, or just removed altogether because they're ineffective.
Yeah.
Or software can do it better.
Well, software can almost always do it better.
Yeah. Well, we use the human beings, or we should be using them for things that they provide unique value, like actual relational thinking value. And I don't think that's going away. I think sales is needed more and more.
Yeah.
But if you have a salesperson that's really a marketer, you got to call it what it is.
It's true.
Like,
yeah,
they're going to miss the sales side of the bucket, like the manual conversion.
Yeah.
All right. So that's leak number 3 is weak follow-up, inconsistent. We do it when we need sales, and then we stop when we have sales. Well,
because we're busy.
Yeah.
We're busy converting and doing the things those sales result in.
We're busy putting out the brightest burning fire, right?
Amen to that.
All right. Leak number 4, offer too unclear or complex.
Oh.
The confused mind never buys.
Yeah, and they don't know, and they won't necessarily ask questions to unburden themselves of that lack of clarity.
Yeah.
They just go somewhere else, or they just don't buy.
Yeah, it's like the sales prevention department if it's the sales team causing it, right?
Sales prevention department.
Yeah. That's. I think that one goes back to Kennedy as well. I'm not sure. That's where I heard it. I don't know if he coined that or not. But it's pretty common now.
You want that department to be as small as possible.
Yes, ideally shot and thrown in the dumpster. But no. But if what your prospect is supposed to buy or do next is unclear, or how this is going to transpire as a relationship with them is unclear, they will not move forward. So if they don't get it, they ain't buying. So we have some fairly sophisticated offerings here and some complex campaigns. And if we start talking about that on our first consult with someone, we are in trouble. The simpler I can make the service offering, preferably to fit on one piece of paper, the better the chance of selling that. And that oftentimes requires standing back and analyzing, and stripping down sometimes what you do. Rather than trying to be everything to everyone, what can we do for this specific type of client and repeat? And by the way, that's a key to growing the business in general, is simplifying and iterating. So who are you offering to? What problem is solved? What happens next in the process? How much is it going to cost? The simpler we can make that, all the better. Sometimes the post office prevents us from being able to answer all those questions out the gate, but that's how we get there. So if we're confused, we ain't buying. If I'm not sure what you're selling, it makes it pretty hard to buy, I guess is another way to put it.
Yeah.
And better yet, if we can get a guarantee on there, because we've simplified it down, what we're promising, we can guarantee it better. All right. So fix list. So here's all these problems. And by the way, when I was doing like in-person consulting, that's pretty much where we'd leave it then is, oh, here's all the things you're doing wrong. And here, give us some money to fix them. But that's not what we're doing in the podcast.
That seems very clear. That's a very clear call to action. Give me money. I'll fix your problems.
I mean, that's the way the sales process should go.
Yeah.
This is a teaching process today, though. So here you go. Here's your like 1 week, 1 month plan. So pick one conversion goal. So is it booked calls, quote request, incoming report request, scheduling demos, whatever it may be. Make sure there is a clear and strong call to action. Exactly what are they supposed to do next? Okay, not like go check out my website. By the way, like I'm going to send you an email follow-up. It's not a great one either. I've heard that one several times around here lately. Build a simple follow-up system, and this is the step that will stop a lot of people, but please don't make it more complex than it needs to be. There's 8 bazillion software, some of them free these days, to build a version 0 email follow-up, if nothing else, or at least a scheduled version of your Post-it note follow-up. And then finally, add a conversion segment to all your content, meaning what do you need them to do? So sometimes for our online reels and stuff, it's like, go watch the full podcast this came from.
Mm-hmm.
But there should be what's going on next, and it should be clear. In emails, sometimes it's in the body of the email, sometimes it's in the PS, but it needs to be there. Like, what's the conversion? So that's it. That's the start. And then you repeat that for all segments of your marketing. That's
just over and over. Yeah.
That's it. And then you'll come back to the one you started with that you thought you solved because it's not functioning well. And voila, you have an entire sales and marketing department.
There you go.
Speaking of clear call to actions, if you need help with a marketing conversion system, or you're still in the bucket of I need more leads, because it is possible that you have great follow-up systems, but no people in them.
Yeah.
This used to be a complete rarity, by the way, but it's much more common now that we have people pitching funnels and follow-up systems. So if you need either of those, reach out to us. We'll walk you through how we use direct mail as a media to do that. If you have a follow-up system question, like I might be able to find some old content for that when I used to teach it. We have some pretty in-depth stuff for that for industries I used to serve. But reach out. Our call to action today is going to be to text message our staff. So, we're doing more and more texting, and I need them to stay logged into the software. So 309-767-0004. Reach out, let them know kind of what your number one problem is with one of the buckets. Or text the word bucket just to confuse them. Just write the word bucket, and then they probably will come to me and be like, do you know why we got someone just texting bucket? And we'll help you out there. Also, a secondary one, we do have a virtual direct mail boot camp coming up in March here. All the details and the lowest available pricing is always going to be at workshop.jurassicmarketing.com. That is a full day. It is a small group, it's looking like, so you'll get a lot of personal attention in creating a direct mail campaign specific for your business. By the end of the day, we're pushing really hard to have you 90% plus complete on a direct mail campaign. If you already have one, we'll spend the time focusing on improving that with our best practices we have here. But it should be a good time. And again, you're going to get a lot of one-on-one, or better yet, everyone in the group helping you through that. So that is it for this episode. Fix the bucket. Put the gum in the holes that are leaking.
That stuff you see on late night TV that they spray everywhere. Like
the Flex Seal.
The Flex Seal. Spray that in there and you'll be fine.
That was a much better title for this episode. Where were you 24 minutes ago?
I don't know. Well, since we don't edit it, we can't go back and...
No.
We're not going to overdub that.
So there you go. If you find yourself busy day in and day out doing marketing and you're not getting the results you want, take a listen through here again, fix some of the leaks, and iterate over and over. And we will be back hopefully next week, depending on when these post, with more small business content.
And now, back to Triceratops with your host, Justin Miller.
Oh, and we're back. And
just about when we talk about not editing.
Should I let you leave this live?
That's pretty good.
Wait.
This is the one that's supposed to go right here. Watch this.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, hold on.
If someone is still listening,
Yeah, if you're still here.
You made it through the end.
Yeah, they should get something for that.
They should.
Okay.
So email me,
All right.
justin@jurassicmarketing.com. Subject line, podcast blooper. We'll give you a $20 off certificate.
There you go.
Yeah.
And this time I'll actually hit the right one.
All right.
Thanks for listening to the Triceratops podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave your comments. For more information on how Jurassic Marketing Direct Mail can help grow your business, visit jurassicmarketing.com.